What fascinates us about anger? Why do we have such a compulsive need to resort to violence? And why do we so easily fall victim to peer pressure in situations which can harm ourselves or others around us? And why are we so cavalier to display hostility just to prove a position in a group? Violence is part of human nature. It all boils down to our aggression and impulses controlled by our frontal lobes, mixed with territorial behavior from our primitive reptilian brains. There's little we can do to rid humanity of its violent nature, aside from enhancing coming generations through genetics. But that's a tricky subject and will be the topic of another video. We simply have to evolve past that flaw, and that's not necessarily an evolutionary path we're going down at the moment, and perhaps never will. We don't have violent tendencies and urges by choice, but we can avoid acting out our urges to be violent by sheer power of will. But even the strongest among us can easily fall victim to peer pressure, being part of things such as riots, simply because we happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And what can we do to prevent that? We can avoid going to protests and large public gatherings, but that's not a realistic nor preferable method. I don't believe humanity is going to stop being violent until we reach a new stage in technological development. Once we solve the energy and hunger crises, live for as long as we want, can travel anywhere in the galaxy, and never have to worry about dying of disease or giving birth to children that will suffer from genetic defects, will we, as a species, see a paradigm shift in human behavior. Telling people that they're bad or punishing those who commit crimes won't change human nature either, but it's certainly the right thing to do. Violent crimes are commonly only committed for the same three reasons universally. They are premeditated, because of psychological problems, or passion. And neither of those will be prevented by our system of punishing wrongdoings. So just making violence illegal is not enough. The legal system is designed in a way that is supposed to correct violent behavior, rehabilitate those that commit violent crimes, and punish them as means of prevention. Both are kinda sketchy, but it's the best we've got. Countries vary in the way they resolve legal punishment. Some use slap on several hundred years of prison time to punish violent criminals, while many other countries focus on rehabilitation as opposed to punishment. If we take a crime of passion, for example, what will punishments do, other than make taxpayers pay to keep someone locked up for committing a crime based on impulses from a strong emotional response to a difficult situation? We can learn not to overreact when such situations occur, but some people just haven't learned it yet. And punishing them does nothing, because they didn't premeditate the crime, so they're not associating the crime with the punishment in the same way a person on the outside would. They might even consider themselves innocent, even though that would be a false claim. And keeping them locked up for life isn't helping them or us either, because we have to pay to keep someone locked up who might not necessarily be a violent person, just someone who couldn't deal with a particular situation at that one time, but could certainly learn to handle every possible upcoming situation in their lives much more effectively if given the correct guidance and rehabilitation. And if they're gonna spend their life in prison, then they learn nothing, which would mean that the punishment is purely out of spite and not used as a solution. There are individuals that need to be locked away for good, but it shouldn't be as a punishment, it should be to keep the rest of society saved. Most notably criminally insane people that cannot possibly be rehabilitated, the worst of the worst, the mass murderers, serial rapists, child murderers, the people that are clearly too psychologically damaged to understand that their actions have consequences, sociopaths that feel no remorse for their crimes. But how do we deal with them? A lot, if not an overwhelming majority of all people want to see such people suffer. They want punishments that match their crimes. But who is that helping? Is it giving people closure through vengeance? And is that a behavior that we as a society want to encourage and nurture? I don't think that's an aspect of human nature we'd want to get rid of. Be more evolved. Be better than the sociopaths we lock away. Or is that just foolish to believe? Perhaps we aren't as evolved as we think. Maybe our compulsive need for vengeance is so strong that we'll go to any lengths to fulfill it. Perhaps we're too easily angered to realize how insane we really are. Maybe that's what intelligence does. Intelligence gives anger and hatred a way to manifest itself. We're the most intelligent species on Earth, but we're also the most sadistic, hateful and evil species there has ever been. And perhaps we're incapable of ever growing up, and will eventually end our meagre existence in a third world war. A war to end all wars. One final angry outburst. Or maybe we can choose to be better than that. This has been Alexander with some thoughts on anger. Cheerio! Oh hi! If you liked this video, perhaps you'll enjoy my previous video as well. And if you enjoy my content, don't forget to press the subscribe button. Cheerio!